an array size and number of variables. So we've got 2,000 lines of program memory, we've got 16,000 elements in the array, and 510 variables. And as we mentioned, the servo update rate is 4 times as fast, and you've got the command execution speed 10 times as fast. So that would be the Accelera features of this product. Now we're going to take a look at the DMC-21X3 features versus the DMC-4000. As you know, the DMC-21X3 is a card-level controller. It's designed to, you buy just what you need for economy, and then you add on features with different daughter boards and interconnect boards. Whereas the DMC-4000 is designed to have all those features standard inside a box. So we're really looking at the DMC-4000 doesn't replace the 21X3. It's a different product. 21X3 is going to be your Econo card-level product, and the DMC-4000 is going to be the Accelera box-level product. So as a standard feature of the 4000, you get those 8 analog inputs. You get some uncommitted inputs, 8 inputs for 1 through 4 axis versions, or 16 for the 5 through 8 axis versions, and those are all optically isolated standard. In addition, you have optical isolated outputs, which again are high power, go up to half an amp, 24 volts. And as you know, with the DMC-21X3, if you want to have extended I/O, you can do that by adding a DB28040 daughter card to get you some more I/O. Well, with the DMC-4000, you get 32 additional TTL I/O standard. That's a standard feature. And this is our first product with a display. We have a 2-line by 8-character display included as part of the package. And we've added some new commands that actually let you write to that display. So you can have in your Galil program a command that writes to the display that might say x-axis is moving, or there's an error on the y-axis, so you do get a display that you can write directly to. Now, of course, you could talk directly to a host computer as well, or another terminal through your Ethernet port, which is 1000 base T. And now we provide 2 RS-232 ports that go up to 115 kilowatt, so much faster RS-232 ports. Now this product, the DMC-4000, does have an interconnect module inside the box. So that's where you see the interconnect module is going to provide those D-type connectors. That's included inside the box. And in addition, we have a DC to DC converter included as well. And that allows you to put 20 to 80 volts directly into the controller. And this is all packaged in a metal enclosure. Any questions?
Lisa,
yes.
I have a question on the LCD display.
Yes.
Can you scroll that if you wanted to have, let's say you had error captured, you had 3 or 4 errors in a row, would that scroll that?
I'm going to have Robin, our senior application engineer, answer that question. Robin?
Hi, gentlemen. The controller is going to have a couple of buttons on the sides of the LCD screen to be able to allow yourself to scroll through. So one way or the other, there'll be options to give you the ability to scroll through. Say you have a menu, basically an operator could actually scroll through the menu and make selections within that menu. So it's going to be more than just a display, 2x8 character. It's going to be multi-line that you can scroll through or send extra messages as you need.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move on to the next slide. As you can see, the DMC-4000, we built this to be extremely compact. So the dimensions of the metal box for the 1 through 4 axis are 8 inches by 7 inches and by less than 2 inches deep. So really, really small. And the 5 through 8 axis version is about 3 inches longer. Now this metal box, the dimensions stay the same regardless if you have our amplifiers inside or not. So you can put 8 500-watt drives inside these box dimensions here without adding any external heat sinking. Very small. So we can go ahead and take a look now at the close-up of the 4-axis version. And you can see here, here's the LCD display that we were talking about. You can see for the extended I/O, you've got D-type connectors here, and for the other I/O, you have some connectors. You've got your 2 RS-232 ports, the Ethernet port, you've got some LEDs, And we also have some jumpers here that you can access as part of the package so you don't have to open up the box for configuration. And the way you can tell that this product has an amplifier in it is actually you can see the motor connectors here peeking out at the top. We've got 4 motors and also our power connector. So that's the 4-axis version. And let's go ahead and take a look at the 8-axis version. And you can see that's the same. It's a little bit longer, and you've got twice as many connectors up at the top, and you've got twice as many encoder connectors here to accommodate the 8-axis.
Is there a recommendation for heat sinking, or is that just...
No, you don't need heat sinking. You're going to attach the controller to probably a metal panel or cabinet, and you won't need to provide any additional heat sinking or fan. They run pretty cool. We've been running these at full power, and they stay pretty cool. Okay, we're going to take a look inside the box so you can see what's inside, but before I do that, I want to point out that the DMC-4000 is sold as a box level controller, and it always contains at least 3 circuit boards. It's always going to contain 1 CPU board, that's the processor board, and in addition, we're going to have a communications board, that's where you get the Ethernet RS-232, and then it's also always going to have an interconnect board, an ICM, so you're always going to get these 3 boards inside the box. Now the amp board is optional, so you can buy the controller with and without the amplifier. So if we take a look inside the box then, we can see we've opened the box and we've got metal on the bottom, and here's the 4 mounting holes, so you'll be mounting the box to your panel. But the very bottom mounted to the metal is always going to be your amplifier card. So this is the amplifier here that I'm pointing to. You can tell because you see these 4 connectors here for driving the motors directly, and there's a power connector. So that what we're looking at right here is the amplifier. It's a little bit hard to see, but in the middle of the stack is your CPU board. That's the processor board. And then on the top, you've got your communications board. And you can tell this is communications because you got obviously your Ethernet and the 2 RS-232 in your display. And then over here on the top also we have our interconnect board. And because this is the 4-axis version, you just need 1 interconnect board, which is going to break out the 4 axes for you. Okay, so that's the 4-axis version. And if you look at the 8-axis version, you can see it's similar, except now on the bottom stack you've got 2 amplifiers side by side. And as you remember with the 21X3 controller, you couldn't put 2 500-watt amplifiers side by side on an 8-axis controller. On this controller, you can now have 2 4-axis drives side by side. So we've got those on the bottom. We still have 1 CPU card, 1 communications board, but now we have 2 ICMs here on the top stack. 1 for the first set of 4-axis and another one for the second set of 4-axis. So this is a close-up. We removed the interconnect board and the communication board, and this is how the CPU board looks. And this is how the CPU board would look for the 8-axis controller, and you can see the 2 amplifiers there peeking out at the top of the board. Let me just point out before I'm going to show you a close-up of the interconnect board and the communications board. The interconnect board, the first one we're coming out with, breaks out all the connectors into D subs for each axis. Now, future interconnect boards will be available with other type of connectors, such as screw terminals. So we did this to provide flexibility. This way we don't have to relay out the whole CPU board. Instead, we can just redesign the interconnect board and to give you another type of connector, such as the screw terminals. But the first interconnect board we have is going to be for D subs. The same with the communication board. The communication board, the first model we're coming out with, has the Ethernet port and 2 RS-232 ports, but we can design future communication boards with other types of interfaces such as CAN. So if we take a look at that, you can see here is a close-up of, you can see the interconnect board with the D-type connectors, and then also the communication board right next to that. That would be the top layer of the controller. Let me talk a little bit about